Breaking news out of Tennessee. The preseason is officially behind us, and now all eyes are on the Titans as the regular season begins. But here's the real question: can this team rise above expectations and push their way into the playoffs? Stay tuned, because we're breaking down the schedule game by game, and trust me, some of these matchups are going to shock you. Preseason is done, ladies and gentlemen. Now, it's time for the real challenge, the regular season. And for the Tennessee Titans, this year could define everything. Today, we're diving deep into the full 17-game schedule, predicting wins, losses, and whether the Titans have what it takes to make a serious playoff push. High voltage. But before we jump into the latest news, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and don't forget to press the bell icon so you never miss a single update. This way, you'll always be the first to know what's happening in the world of the Titans. Now, let's move on to the big story. The Titans' road this season is not easy. It starts right away in Week 1 at Denver against the Broncos. That's a brutal opener, the altitude, the crowd, and a reloaded Denver team. Honestly, this one could be a reality check for Tennessee. From there, it doesn't get much easier: the Rams, the Colts, and then the Texans in the first 4 games. That's a gauntlet to start the year. And as we move down the schedule, Raiders, Patriots, Chargers, Seahawks, Jaguars, and a perfectly placed Week 10 bye, the season starts shaping into a real test of consistency. The back half is even tougher: Browns, 49ers, Chiefs, Saints, and another critical showdown with the Jaguars. Circle Week 16 on your calendar: Chiefs vs. Titans. That game might just decide whether Tennessee is playing in January or not. But here's the fun part: I'm not giving you my record prediction yet. I want to hear from you first. Go down into the comments and predict the Titans' record this season. Will they shock the league and make a playoff push, or will the schedule prove too much? Stay locked in, because after we walk through every game, I'll reveal my official prediction. The season opener is going to be a baptism by fire. Imagine this: your franchise quarterback, Cam Ward, stepping into his very first NFL game, and it just so happens to be in Denver. That's not just tough, that's brutal. Why? Because the Broncos don't just have a defense, they have a wall. 60 sacks last season, one of the most feared pass rush units in the entire league. And yes, Tennessee's offensive line has shown signs of improvement, but this is Denver. In that atmosphere, against that front seven, I've got the Broncos taking the win. But here's where things get interesting. Week 2, back home against the Rams. Now this matchup hinges on one thing: the health of Matthew Stafford. If he's good to go, the Rams still pack a punch with guys like Puka Nacua, Karen Williams, and a steady offensive rhythm. But if Stafford isn't there? If it's Jimmy Garoppolo leading the charge instead? That swings the door wide open. In that case, I can see Tennessee pulling off the upset at home. Then comes Week 3 against the Colts, and I'll say this with zero hesitation: this is Tennessee's first guaranteed win. I don't care who's under center for Indy. Anthony Richardson? Daniel Jones? Doesn't matter. The Colts are in chaos. They've been stumbling for years, and I just don't see that changing now. Mark it down: this is where the Titans finally get into the win column. And then we roll into Week 4 against the Texans. Now, don't overlook this one. On paper, it might seem like an easy call, but division games are never that simple. Houston's offensive line has been shaky, and that's going to cause problems for them. Still, this game is in Houston, and early season divisional battles can get messy. I'm calling it: the Texans edge this one out at home. But here's the twist: the Titans will see them again later in the year, this time in Nashville, with plenty of film to study. That rematch could be a very different story. Now let's move into the next stretch of games, Weeks 5 through 8, the Cardinals, Raiders, Patriots, and Colts. This part of the schedule could make or break the Titans' season. First up, the Arizona Cardinals. On paper, they don't jump off the page, but don't underestimate them. This is a scrappy, underrated group that can hang around in games. Everything depends on Kyler Murray. If he's sharp, Arizona becomes a dangerous opponent. And let's not forget James Conner, one of the most overlooked running backs in the league. I see this one slipping away from Tennessee, with the Cardinals pulling it out. That leaves the Titans at a rough 1-4 start, not exactly the tone you want to set. But then comes a chance to bounce back. Week 6 against the Raiders. Let's be honest, Las Vegas looks like one of the NFL's weakest teams this year. Their offensive line is a major concern, and this is exactly the type of matchup the Titans can use to get right. I've got Tennessee winning this one, snapping the skid and moving to 2-4. Not great, but at least hope is alive. Week 7 is where things get personal. The New England Patriots come to town, and that means one thing: your old coach is back, and he's bringing fire with him. This isn't just another game, it's a statement. The Patriots' defense has reloaded, adding pieces like Milton Williams, and with Harold Landry joining them after being cut by Tennessee, you know he's circling this date on his calendar. Emotions will be high, but the edge goes to New England. I've got the Patriots taking this one. And finally, Week 8 against the Colts in Indianapolis. Division games are always brutal, and sweeping a rival is never easy. The Titans already got them once, but going on the road in Indy? That's a different animal. As much as Tennessee would love to grab both, history tells us it rarely works that way. I see the Colts evening the series here. So let's call it like it is: Week 8 in Indianapolis doesn't go Tennessee's way. The Colts take it, and as much as they've been a punchline around the league, division games often come down to the smallest margins. That leaves the Titans sitting at 2-6 halfway through the season. Now here's the question: is that enough to keep Brian Callahan safe? Hard to say. But even through the struggles, there's one bright spot: Cam Ward. He's showing flashes of exactly why this team believed in him. His poise, his arm talent, his growth each week, you can see the foundation of something real being built, even if the win-loss column doesn't reflect it yet. Next comes a brutal stretch. Week 9 against the Chargers. Jim Harbaugh now leads that team, and he's paired with one of the most dangerous quarterbacks in football, Justin Herbert. Add in a roster stacked with playmakers, and you've got a tough assignment. I see the Chargers taking this one, which drops Tennessee to 2-7. Thankfully, Week 10 brings relief, the bye week. Perfect timing right in the middle of the season. A chance to reset, regroup, and come back stronger. And when they return in Week 11, it's Texans versus Titans in Nashville. This is exactly the type of game where Tennessee can flip momentum. Houston's a good football team, but coming off a bye, in front of the home crowd, I see the Titans stealing this one. Cam Ward shines, showing his potential as a true leader, and the Titans get their third win of the season. Then comes Week 12 against the Seahawks. Don't sleep on this Seattle team, they're loaded with weapons. Sam Darnold at quarterback, Cooper Kupp bringing veteran reliability, and Jackson Smith-Njigba as a rising star. That's an offense with serious firepower. Combine that with a solid overall roster, and this becomes one of the toughest matchups of the year. At this point, the Titans sit at 3-8, and the pressure is mounting. Next up is a clash with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And here's the truth: Jacksonville's entire season might hinge on whether Trevor Lawrence finds his footing again. New coaching voices are supposed to spark his career, but so far, the results don't exactly scream stability. Yes, they've got talent like pass rusher Josh Allen and some emerging pieces on offense, but when it comes to a head-to-head divisional battle in Nashville, I'm rolling with the Titans. I see Tennessee taking this one at home, fueled by grit and urgency. From there, the schedule looks like a gauntlet. Browns, 49ers, Chiefs, Saints, and then another rematch with the Jaguars. It's a brutal closing stretch, and realistically, the Titans can only hope to survive it. If they can squeeze out 3 wins in that span, it would be a massive statement. If not, this season could close with more questions than answers. Either way, the spotlight stays fixed on Cam Ward. Every snap, every drive, every late-game decision is part of his growth. And while the record might not shine, the foundation of his career is being built in these very weeks. Now we enter Week 14 against the Cleveland Browns. And this matchup is fascinating for one big reason: quarterback uncertainty. For Tennessee, there's no doubt, it's Cam Ward's team. But for Cleveland? That's a mystery. Who will be under center? Shedeur Sanders? Dylan Gabriel? Joe Flacco making another comeback? Nobody knows. Outside of Myles Garrett anchoring that defense, the Browns just don't inspire much confidence. I've got the Titans taking this one and moving to 5-8, showing steady progress and already surpassing last year's win total. Week 15 brings the San Francisco 49ers. Yes, they've been hammered by injuries this year, particularly at wide receiver, but let's be real, the Niners always find a way. Christian McCaffrey, a stacked defense, and a coaching staff that knows how to adjust. By this point in the season, they'll likely be healthier and far more dangerous. That's a tough ask for Tennessee, and I'm giving this one to San Francisco. That sets up Week 16, the Chiefs. The game is in Nashville, the crowd will be electric, and there's always the dream of pulling off a massive upset. But when you're facing Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, dreams don't always translate into reality. As much as it hurts to say it, I see Kansas City taking this one. Finally, Week 17. And here, Tennessee faces what I consider the weakest team in football. The quarterback situation is a complete mess, Tyler Shaw. Spencer Rattler. Neither name inspires much fear. This is where the Titans can seize control, deliver a statement win, and push their record forward. So here we are, Week 17 against the league's weakest roster. Honestly, this matchup doesn't even feel close. Their quarterback situation is a mess, their offense is shaky, and their depth is paper thin. Unless something dramatic changes, Tennessee should win this game comfortably, locking in a decisive late-season victory. That brings us to the finale, Week 18 against the Jaguars. And as I've said before, when it comes to divisional rivals, I always expect a split. The Titans took care of business earlier, but Jacksonville gets the edge here. That leaves Tennessee finishing the season at 6-11. Now, is that record inspiring? No. But does it mean this team is doomed? Absolutely not. Because here's the reality, the AFC South isn't exactly stacked with powerhouse teams. Jacksonville is inconsistent, Indianapolis is rebuilding, and even Houston, while strong, can still be caught in the right moment. Worst to first isn't out of the question, but the more realistic path is steady growth. This feels like the start of a 2 to 3 year rebuild. With Mike Borgoni bringing his experience from Kansas City, there's reason to believe the foundation is being laid the right way. And most importantly, the Titans finally have their franchise quarterback in Cam Ward. That alone changes everything. So, while 6-11 may not sound impressive, it's the beginning of something bigger. Year by year, piece by piece, this team is moving in the right direction. And when the puzzle finally comes together, Tennessee could once again be a force in the AFC.